Well, it's really fun.
All at the same time, I was having a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
It's easier than doing it on your own.
Oh, definitely way more successful.
The teacher was really good.
I think that I did a lot better than I would have on my own.
I think it's every teacher's greatest dream.
We as parents could participate in the event as well.
Ensign Education has helped to counter what would sometimes be drudgery in homeschooling. We have enjoyed the excitement that it has brought into our home, the conversations that we have been able to have as a result of the preparation and the study of the teachers that are presenting. It has helped us to be more consistent in our homeschooling. Despite sickness or many of the distractions that enter into homeschooling and all the things that a mother has to do to take care of, it has been there each day with wonderful preparations of the teacher, and that I can share those with our children. I've just loved homeschooling our children with Ensign Education and wish that I had had it all along, but look forward to the future that it brings to the children that we are still homeschooling and for our grandchildren, and that it can benefit many all across the country who want to homeschool and do a good job and bring added dimension of the excitement of well-prepared and expert teachers.
We've been really pleased with this whole online program. It's really helped my children to be able to meet with a teacher each day one-on-one.
Sometimes when you're doing homeschool, the mom is the teacher all the time, and it's nice to have a different perspective for the kids.
I actually have a chance to develop a personal rapport, but having a block of time with a student where they are asking you questions, you're gauging their reactions, you're having this dialogue back and forth every single day, you just develop a very personal relationship, which is amazing when you think about the fact that you're not in the same room.
We always had some sort of inside joke between the class, the student, something that we just made it really personal, and I felt like, yeah, he really knew about me, where I needed help on math, and he just knew me as a person, as also as a student.
He made it enjoyable to come to math every day, and so it was enjoyable to learn from him.
I believe he knew us individually, and he helped us with the areas we needed help in.
And I can ask him at each step along the way, does that make sense? Did that make sense? Oh, this is where I lost you. Okay, let's talk about this. And let's go at this from another direction. Let's talk about something you understand. Tell me about, and I'll try to come up with a problem or a situation that maybe is more familiar to them or something they've encountered in their own life. And then once we can find some common ground, then I build on that common ground until we can establish a relationship to that piece of information, and then hopefully that bridges that gap, and then we move on.
Each problem we went to, he said, now so-and-so, do you understand this? And they would say yes or no, and if they didn't, we would go over another problem or work it again or something so that everybody understood everything.
They had a notepad on the side, and he just wrote it on his end, and we could see it on ours. It was really nice because he could explain the problems really well, and you could see what he was talking about.
Well, I think the caliber of that particular teacher was wonderful, and being one-on-one with that kind of caliber of a teacher it doesn't happen very often.
It's exciting to think that we can tap into teachers all over this country who are not only experts in the subjects that they teach, and that they love them and the passion comes through, but also that they strengthen our children's testimony. I love that they share with our children their testimonies and their beliefs that help our children be prepared for the future days ahead.
It's such a blessing to be able to pull things from all parts of my life, because the gospel is such an integral part of my life, and just be able to use those freely without any worry that I might say something wrong or offend or put someone off. It's exciting.
I appreciate the opportunity to share the gospel in connection with every single topic out there. There really is an opportunity to expand our our knowledge of both spiritual and temporal things in the same discussion. And I feel that it's important to do that.
You can trust that they have the same principles and the same religious values that you have, and so you don't have to worry about things coming into your home that you don't agree with.
So it's exciting for me to be able to share two things that I love at the same time, the gospel and math.
You and your child can sit side by side and learn together and share the gospel and share those topics with one another.
No parent, or really anyone for that matter, is an expert on every subject. But there is something that you love to teach and something that you're good at, and those are the subjects that you should teach. I have enjoyed Ensign Education this year to be able to tap into teachers who love subjects that I don't. Much of my homeschooling, I felt I was teaching subjects that I should and needed to do, but I felt a drudgery about them. And that lack of love of that learning came through to my children. And I feel like Ensign Education has helped me to balance that better by having a teacher who's enthusiastic and happy and loves their subject and well qualified. In fact, so much so that I begin to love subjects that I didn't like as much before.
My daughter, when she does her online, math is not her favorite subject, and so it's really hard for her. She really dreads it, but she likes her teacher so well that it's almost, good for her. Whereas if it were her mother working with her, we tend to butt heads a little more, and so the teacher is able to be more neutral, and it just flows so much better.
To be your child's educator involves going to people who know when you don't. It sometimes we don't have all of the tools that we need in order to be the best teacher we can be. And so to have something online that comes into your home and you can be sure and have confidence in it that it's going to teach your kids things that you want them to be taught.
One of the things that I know a lot of parents kind of struggle with, or maybe have self-esteem issues with when they're thinking about homeschooling, is that am I really an expert in all of the different subjects? And so something like Ensign Education would be beneficial because it would save me some preparation time, but I could sit there with them and learn the principles and help them with those principles later, and I think that would be so beneficial.
And as their parent is taking the lesson with them and synthesizing the information, even if they maybe already understood the concept, if they're listening to the lesson and understanding how I'm teaching the concept, then they can be my greatest tool in then turning around and reinforcing the same concepts and the same way of teaching it that I've been teaching it. And so it's that second witness that we know is so important. It's a teacher says it, and then mom and dad say it, and then we keep reiterating the same things over and over and over again. And I love that concept.
I sit with her, and it helps me to know how to help her as well, because I'm learning how the teacher's techniques and the little ways that she is able to implement an idea or to teach a concept. And so she's actually teaching me how to teach just by sitting in on the lesson.
I did better in this class because I was accountable to someone for my homework getting done. So that helped me motivate myself.
It's always nice to have someone else be the person they're responsible to. And I still was able and needed to reinforce and help teach them, but there was somebody else setting the deadlines, and so every day they had to turn in lessons, and so I wasn't the bad guy, that I just was helping, encouraging, getting their assignments done, but I wasn't setting the deadlines. That was somebody else.
There was more accomplished with a better attitude all the way around than had been otherwise, absolutely.
Ensign Education not only offers the core curriculum, history, language arts, math, and the sciences, but also the excitement of art appreciation, design, music, cooking, several classes that are so fun to tap into and help bring an added dimension to homeschool.
I liked the availability and flexibility of these courses being able to accommodate our family schedule. If we had an event that conflicted with the scheduled class we could delay and could view and study at another time, which helped our family.
I liked how you could delay it and you could watch it later if you didn't have time that day. So if you were gone on a vacation or something with your family, then they had flexible hours so that you could do it later, and so that was a nice advantage to have.
History I really liked because it's also recorded, so I could go back and listen to the lecture again, even after class. So if I missed some notes or something, I could go back and get them and review them, so that for the next class, I had heard it again so I could understand it better, because it was reiterating, And so I always felt more prepared if I could listen to the lecture before our next class.
I think would be a resource that I will use in my homeschooling, and I'm really excited about it.
Thank you for spending a few minutes with us and for giving us the opportunity to introduce Ensign Education. You've just heard from a few of the parents, students, and teachers who have already had a chance to experience the tip of the iceberg, as it were, of the exciting potential and power of this technology. When I look at what the church has done with the internet and what it is continuing to do, I am impressed that it is absolutely visionary. Not only do they send the gospel message to every internet-connected computer in the world in 88 languages, but there are also children's activities like coloring and puzzles, music instruction, of course all the printed materials for scriptures, lessons, conference talks, and magazines, employment opportunities, genealogy from around the world, food storage instructions. Now they're even producing short little inspirational videos that are available through YouTube that are just wonderful. We've also seen that the church is now using the internet for interviews and training sessions with leaders around the world. I believe that what we are doing at Ensign Education is part of a trend that will only expand and increase in the near future beyond what we can see or even imagine now. There are individuals that are truly gifted with the ability to teach and inspire, and such a teacher can make a great difference in the life of a young person, not only in their academic progress, but in their spiritual development as well. And developing those two together is what education should be all about. That is our mission at Ensign Education. I invite you to take a closer look at our course offerings and teachers and give us a try. Ensign Education may be just the added dimension that will make the difference for your family too.